Hi, John with Citizen Survival Plan here. Today I want to talk about water considerations and how you would get clean drinking water and water for hygiene and other things during an emergency. So, like anything else, we are going to make our preparations as there's no power and there's no running water, and we have experienced some sort of collapse in our country and there is just no utilities. This is going to be kind of something that you're going to look at for maybe 3 to 6 or maybe even 1 year, 3 to 6 months or 1 year of clean drinking water. So pretty prolonged period of time. I think things would start to come back online, at least in maybe smaller communities by then where we have some water filtration going on. The things I want to cover today are all the considerations with drinking water, hygiene, your location, where you are and how you're going to get water, moving water around, even weather concerns like freezing temperatures and purifying water, and turning on well pumps, because we're going to want to do that too. So let's just start with the first one here, which is going to be drinking water. The first thing you're going to want to do, and this covers a lot of bases, but it's small. Get a Katadyn hiker filter or one of those MSR ceramic filters with a hand pump, so you can pump water into buckets and whatnot. This is going to supply like one person with enough water. You're not probably going to be able to give water to a whole family with just this little system for very long. It could be done in a pinch, but it's not going to work for very long. I like this because in a pinch you actually can, and you wouldn't want to do this all the time, but in a pinch you could take this small filter and actually pump like a 5-gallon bucket up so you could take a shower or something. Again, this little plastic pump is probably not going to handle this all the time, but in a pinch you could use it. This is the first filter that I would probably get if you have nothing currently. The next thing we want to do is get like a Berkey or Alexapure or whatever, the big gravity filter with the charcoal filter, so you could gravity filter water all day. That's going to be so everyone can have drinking water. Life straws are okay. Those are like really emergency drinking filters. So just a regular life straw. One thing that can help a lot during our emergency situation is having a rain barrel at your house, or multiple rain barrels, so ways to collect rain right at home. So we have like a 50-gallon rain barrel. So if it rains, the whole thing fills right up, and I have 50 gallons of water, I don't have to go collect it. Last thing with drinking water is bleach. You can use bleach to purify water. I think I'll put the measurements up. I think it's a 1/4 of a teaspoon is what you use to actually use to make the water safe to drink. The only thing I don't like about bleach is that you're not getting all the particulates out. So you have all that water with all that floating stuff, and I guess you could run it through a t-shirt or something first, but bleach is just a side note. I would definitely have some. If you have also like a bunch of canned food and you need to cook it, and you need to clean dishes. I mean, think about all the water you're going to need, and not just water from a creek or stream. You need purified water to clean your dishes. You can't clean your dishes with that nasty water. So we're going to be cleaning a lot of stuff if we didn't save up a lot of freeze-dried food. So keep in mind all that stuff, and you're going to need soap and stuff, but that's another topic. We're trying to just stay on water today. Yeah, so dishes and stuff are really going to use up a lot of that too. So that's something to consider if you have a lot of canned food or just food that's stored that you're going to need to prepare and heat up pots and pans and make a mess making. So big consideration on that. Just a lot of people think that they're done once they, have a Berkey and that's it. They're just going to have drinking water. You need water for a lot of other things. This is going to be really difficult, actually. This is going to be a big problem you're going to face if you live in a suburban area or somewhere where you're going to have to move water. So we don't have any running water at the house. There's no electricity. So we're going to be collecting water for hygiene, drinking, and all the stuff we need. So you're going to need some sort of cart and big 5-gallon probably or 3-gallon containers to move the water with. Remember, we need to plan so we can get water back to our location without vehicles, because we might not have gas stations open or something. So consider the fact that it's so bad that your utilities aren't on. You might not be able to get gas either to lug water around in a car or truck. So we're going to want to get like a gorilla cart or something to move a lot of this around. This is going to be heavy. This is going to take up probably a third of your day, is just collecting enough water to drink for and keep yourself clean. So keep that in mind. This is hygiene considerations. I would say for a family of 4, 5 people, you're going to need 10 to 20 gallons a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, you're gonna want to stay clean. You're gonna want to shower and stuff. Especially in the summer. Like here, we're in America. I mean, we're like every other, state or whatever. We kind of have 3 seasons. We have summer, winter, and I think everyone kind of has a time where it's hot, and you're sweating, and it's just gross. You're gonna want to shower. So I know that sounds like a high estimation, but it really is something to consider. Yeah, so in my water basics video, I had a Zodi hot shower, and that would be a good thing to take a shower with, because I could heat the water up on an outdoor wood stove. So that's part of the stuff you're going to have for your water purification, is an outdoor wood stove. That way we, not even just for boiling, but if you just wanted to have a hot shower and it was cold, let's say it's, middle of winter, and you just want to take a hot shower. You might have to do it outside, so you're gonna want hot water for sure. It's at least gonna raise your spirits a little bit. This can also be accomplished by poking holes in a 5-gallon bucket and hanging a 5-gallon bucket up. I mean, you don't have to spend the money on that Zodi shower. I just wanted to have it. Yeah, water and rain barrels. So you're gonna have your rain barrels and stuff that you stored, and you're gonna want to clean that water before you shower in it. You cannot shower in nasty creek, river water, or the nasty rainwater barrels that you have at your house. It's just it's almost, I mean, it wouldn't be worse than not taking a shower, but I mean, it's just still going to be gross. You're going to be just as gross. So another consideration that you're going to be using a ton of water is you're going to need to wash your clothes. So in my basics video, I think it was in water, I'm pretty sure, we were using the manual clothes, showing off the manual clothes washer, because we're going to need to wash our clothes. We're going to need to shower. A lot of people, I guess, would argue that you don't. I wouldn't want to live like that. I'm going to want to collect water to wash clothes and stuff. So think about that. You'll get skin infections and stuff if you're wearing dirty, nasty underwear and shirts and stuff all day. So even more water to wash clothes. So that's why I'm giving this very high estimation of water. So this is where we need to start thinking about boiling large quantities of water, huge pots, like 3-gallon pots, 4-gallon pots, and you're going to want to set it on an outdoor wood stove, or if you have a wood stove for your house, you could do it there too. But a lot of suburban people don't have wood stoves in their house. I don't. I do have an outdoor one that I could set up and use in an emergency. So we're going to want to boil that water to at least clean it up. And this brings up another thing too, is how are you gonna burn that much wood if you're in a suburban area? You're gonna be already collecting water that's really, really heavy, right? And now you need to go out for firewood every day. Are you close enough to woods or anything, etc., to collect a bunch of wood to put in your wood stove to actually boil a lot of water? You're gonna need to supplement this a little bit with propane burners, like propane cook stoves, and stuff like that. A rocket stove too. I want to mention that. Those big rocket stoves you can put huge pots on, like the big durable, not the little chintzy cheap camping ones, like a big rocket stove. But even on wet days and stuff, you're going to want to be able to use propane, just as a supplement. I know propane's not an indefinite thing, but you can store up a lot of propane. It doesn't go bad. I've mentioned this before in a lot of my basic stuff. Propane. Big tanks, and run the lines off the big tanks to run your stuff, and get one of those valves to refill the little 1-pound cylinders. So that's a lot to consider too. I mean, you might not be able to boil water on some days you can't get wood or whatever. So just keep that in mind. This is another option, and I like this too, but it has a drawback I'm going to get into in 1 second. The Life Straw Community, it's like got a bunch of spigots on it, it's got a bunch of filters in it. It can filter a ton of water, and for one family, I think you could filter enough water through that thing on a daily basis for all your water requirements. The other thing, and this is really expensive, the Katadyn Expedition. It's like a big pump, and you can pump a lot. I think it's 26,000 gallons can go through it. And it's durable enough that I would feel comfortable actually using it to pump water, unlike the little tiny hiker Katadyns where it's got like the plastic pump and stuff. That's just for drinking water. This is a little bit more of a robust system, but it's like $2,000. So I would probably think about maybe having one of those large Life Straw communities. The product, not a whole community. But yeah, because you can get enough water through it to do a lot. Maybe even have two if you have a big family. So that's something to combat that. This is going to be hard getting just the water considerations, and this is a lot of reasons why I am very against like people who think they're going to bug out to the woods. I mean, just consider how hard it's going to be to keep enough clean water at your house in an emergency with no power or anything. Like you have. Just water is going to take up a third of your day trying to get all this water to keep yourself clean, alive, and healthy. Let's go to weather. This is some concerns that I really try and get people to think about with filtering water. Why does weather have to do with this? Well, the filters can't freeze. That big community Life Straw thing, you're going to need to keep it warm during the winter months. So if an emergency happens in the winter, you are going to be not putting that thing outside. That's got to come in the house, and you have to have the capability to keep a room warm enough. And I'm not talking like you don't need to keep it at 70 degrees in your house. We need to keep these filters from not freezing. So all your Berkeys and everything, you need to find a place in your house where you're going to set all this stuff up and determine what room is going to stay relatively warm where it's not going to freeze these filters. If you destroy all your filters during an emergency, you are going to be stuck boiling water, burning tons of propane, collecting firewood to burn all this stuff to keep boiled water. So boiling water requires a lot of energy. A lot of energy collecting wood, and propane if that's what you're going to do. A lot of people don't have a wood stove in their house. I think I mentioned that already. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you have the funds for it to have somebody install a wood stove in your house. Do it correctly in the right way, and maybe even in your basement or like an extension on your house or whatever you got. I don't know people's homes, but you could hire a company to install a wood stove, or if you're handy enough, you could do it yourself. This would be good because you can keep your house warm and you can have the wood stove inside your house. So really, really good idea. We have buddy heaters, and I store a lot of propane, so keep that in mind. I have enough propane probably for an entire winter, maybe 2 winters or winter and a half, to keep the house warm. I live in a pretty small house, though, so if you have a big giant house or something, I mean, you're going to need more. So we're going to want to keep that buddy heater running at night, just on low or something. You're going to want to kick it on and off all the time. You're not going to just want to just have it on. So keep that in mind. You got to keep your house warm enough to keep your emergency filters from freezing. Yeah, I know propane's not a permanent solution. You will run out of fuel at some point. Like I said, I think community is going to start coming back online, and maybe some utilities start coming back online. Even if we had a really severe emergency in our country and in another country, I think that things would start to come back to normal. I think the first month of the power going out, you're going to lose a lot of people, and things will calm down once the prepared people have survived and whatnot. It's going to be tough. Yeah, so went over all that. Let's think about turning on a well pump now. And this is actually one of the best ways that I'd like to see water get done. I have city water, right? So I don't have a well pump. And a lot of people are on city water. We have to consider this. But around us, and my dad's house is within walking distance. It's about 3 miles from here, and I could get there. I could definitely walk there and back, maybe a couple times a day if I had to. I would get in better shape. But yeah, it's doable. He has kind of a shallow well, and this is just an example. I just want to bring it up because this is possible for people. The well pump in his basement just plugs like into a regular electrical socket. It's not hardwired in or anything. So we could actually take our big solar generator or just a regular generator and kick that pump on once or twice a day, pump out water into buckets and stuff, and collect a lot of water that way. So that would be a really good thing to start, is start looking around and be like, whose well pump can I turn on? So for the wells that are a little bit deeper, these are the wells that typically people have. I know that ours at my dad's house it's not like everyone's well. So if you have a deeper well, which you typically have, I'll put a picture up of it. I've seen this before. It's called an earth straw. So you could take the cap off of your well. I would make sure the electricity's out and everything. You could put this on and you could pump water by hand out of your well. So that would be a really good option if you are on a well and you need to get the water out of the ground. There's no streams or anything around you. This looks like an interesting product. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how well it works or how durable it is, but for the price, I certainly would get it if I had a well. If you have the property for it, have someone survey your property and see if they can install a manual hand crank like pump well. I've even seen people take sledgehammers and you just hammer these pipes into the ground until you get the water, and then you can pump water out of it. I know you need to test the water and stuff, but even if you didn't test the water and you like hammered down in and you got water out of the ground, you could always run it through your purifiers even if it didn't pass or whatever, you know. Just something to think about. If I had a property big enough, I would, and I could get somebody to survey and put a hand pump well in, I would do it. This is the last one, I think, is location. If you are like in Las Vegas or something, this is going to be pretty much impossible for you. But you're going to want to buy yourself some time, okay? Store up a lot of water. So go spend some money on some water tanks. The 100-gallon, 50-gallon drums. I would put 500 to 1,000 gallons of water and at your house, in your home, on your property. If you are just somewhere where there is no creeks, it barely rains ever, and you just need water just to start, because it's not like you're just going to bug out on day one from your property if you have no water. And this is another thing that I'm going to bring up too, that make sure your vehicle is EMP proofed. And if you're in one of these places where there's no water, there's no hope. You need to get out of there. You're not going to survive the emergency unless they're kicking on like dams and stuff for your water to run again. I mean, you need to store up just enough water that you could stay at home for a couple of days, maybe a week, maybe even a month until things settle down. If there was an EMP that went off or something, EMP proof your vehicle. If you are one of these people that lives in the desert, it will save your life. Get a good EMP shield. I know Faraday Defense sells some stuff. At least put one of those traps. It's called a trap. Put it in your electrical sockets of your car to protect your vehicle from an EMP attack and keep your vehicle in good shape so you can get out when it's necessary. That way you can bring all your preparations with you at your house with you on the go. You don't want to abandon all your other preps just because there's no water. You're going to want to take that stuff with you. So maybe a small travel trailer or something. Or keep in mind, if things have gone this south that bad, you might be able to just go up to U-Haul and just grab a trailer and just pull it. You know, I mean, there might not be anyone there. You know, society has collapsed at that point. You won't have to need the $14 of your credit card to even rent it. So yeah, EMP proof your vehicle, store up a ton of water, you are not going to be able to stay in that location if you are unable to get any water. That wraps it up today. I hope that I brought up some considerations for everyone to think about with water. Having a Berkey or just one Katadyn water filter for an emergency is not going to cut it. You need to consider all this stuff: drinking water, hygiene, location, moving your water around, weather, freezing concerns, and turning on well pumps, and even bugging out, because water could force you to bug out if there's no water in your area. EMP proof, you know, all the things. Get out of there. That's going to wrap it up today. This is water considerations. I hope everyone finds something useful out of this video. I thought about it a long time when I was preparing, so something to think about. Thanks for watching, guys.